We are doing sums that is related to passing journal entry for reserves and surpluses. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So this is the first example wherein they have told you that there are some undistributed profits and losses, like there is general reserves, workmen compensation reserve, profit and loss
Yeah.
account. If nothing is mentioned, can you tell me whether it is undistributed profits or it is undistributed loss?
It's profit.
This is undistributed profits. And undistributed profits have what balances?
This thing, credit balances.
So this will have a credit balance. Very good, Bhagyan. Okay. So this is going to have a credit balance. Okay. Then there is an advertisement suspense account, and they are mentioning over here that it is a debit. What does this
Yeah,
mean?
debit. And that this is a loss, like a loss.
This is a loss, and this will have a debit balance. What is the
Yeah.
general thing that we do if nothing is mentioned? Undistributed profits is given to the partners.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is given to the partners on what side of partners capital account?
yeah.
What side?
A credit side,
On the credit side. And undistributed loss is given to the partners on what side?
debit side.
On the debit side. When do you do this?
And when it's not mentioned,
Okay, and when
um,
there's a change in the structure, that means if the profit sharing ratio has changed, if there is admission of partner, there is retirement, death, dissolution, in that case you do this. Okay,
yes, ma'am.
okay, just try to read the question. See over here, X, Y, and Z are partners sharing profits and losses in the ratio of 5 is to 3 is to 2. This is
Yeah,
the old ratio. Are you with
old
me?
ratio. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now they decide to share profits and losses in the ratio of 2 is to 3 is to 5. So this is which ratio?
New ratio.
New ratio. So there is a change in the ratio. So when there is a change in the ratio, the profit sharing ratio, that means there is a change in the structure. When
Yeah,
there is a change in the structure, if nothing is mentioned, the undistributed profits would go to partners' capital credit side,
credit side.
and undistributed loss would go to partners' capital debit.
Partners, debit side.
So undistributed
Right.
profits will go to the partners' capital account which side?
Credit side.
So partners' capital will be credit and the undistributed profits would be debited. Are you
Debited.
with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the profits would be debited at partners' capital account would be credited in which
Credited.
ratio?
Old ratio.
Old ratio. If nothing is mentioned, you distribute the undistributed profits amongst the partners in the old ratio. What do you do to the
Yes.
undistributed losses?
We put it in the partners debit side, partners capital account.
What would be the journal entry to distribute the undistributed losses?
So
It would be partners capital account which side?
debit side,
It would be partners capital account debit to
undistributed losses credit.
the undistributed losses account. Are you with me?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now there is a change in the ratio. That is the reason the undistributed profits has to be given to the partners. So partners capital account would be credited and undistributed loss has to be given to the partners. Partners capital account would be debited in
Debited.
their old ratio. So
Old
if
ratio.
nothing is mentioned, they are telling you pass the necessary journal entries. You are going to pass the necessary journal entries. This is your undistributed profits. So undistributed profits would be debited and it would be distributed amongst the partners in their old ratio. So the total of the undistributed profits is how much? It is 75,000 plus 12,500
plus 37,500.
7,500. So if I do the total of this, so it is 0, 0, 0 and 1 over here. This will become 15, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 125,000. 125,000 would be distributed amongst A, B, and C in old ratio. What is the old ratio?
5:3:2.
The old ratio is 5:3:2.
Yes.
Old ratio is 5:3:2. That means divide by 10. So
Divide by 10, yeah.
125,000 into 5 by 10
5 10
would go to X.
x
125,000 into what by 10? Someone tell me.
3 by 10
Would go to Y. And 125,000 into 2 by 10 would go to Z. Please be sure
Yes.
you need to do your calculations manually. You are not allowed to use calculator. So you will
Right.
do
Yes,
the
ma'am.
calculations manually and arrive at the figures. What is this? Reserves and profits. This is general reserves and workmen compensation reserve and profits.
Reserve.
It is transferred to the old partners in old ratio. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Now this is the undistributed loss. What would be the entry for this?
Right. Entry, right? So like it will be
Entry for this.
under like partners capital account debited by undistributed loss.
Very good. So the partners capital account debit in which ratio?
Old ratio.
Old ratio. And the undistributed loss, that is the advertisement suspense, it will be credited. So 50,000 into 5 by 10 would go to X. 3 by 10 would go to Y. And 2 by 10 would go to Z. Are you with me?
Z. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do the calculation, try the sum. I will wait for you. So this was distributing your undistributed profits and distributing your undistributed losses. How? The general way, when nothing is mentioned. When
Nothing is
nothing
mentioned.
is
Right.
mentioned and you distribute the undistributed profits and losses to the partners in their old ratio, after the change in structure, I'm repeating again, after change in structure, this undistributed profits and losses will not come in your new
Yes, ma'am.
balance sheet. Okay. However, if you want this undistributed profits and losses to come in your new balance sheet at their old values, I'm repeating again. If you want this undistributed profits and losses to come in the
Yeah.
new
New
balance
balance
sheet.
sheet.
New balance sheet means what?
Ma'am, like
The balance sheet after the change in structure.
okay.
So if you want this to come in your new balance sheet at the book value, you have to pass an adjustment entry.
Yes, ma'am.
So what are they asking you in your second part? Show the effect without changing the book values, without affecting their book values, by passing which entry?
Adjustment entry.
By passing adjustment entry. So how do you pass an adjustment entry? You do gaining partner debit
Yeah.
to
Sacrificing partner
sacrificing
credit.
partner. Okay. How do you pass an adjustment entry? You will do gaining partner debit Gaining partner debit,
Mhm.
sacrificing partner credit. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So for adjustment entry, you have to calculate net effects of reserves and profits. What do you have to calculate?
Net effects of reserves and profit.
So all the undistributed profits you're going to add. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Minus the undistributed loss. That was the item
Losses.
in suspense. You
Yes,
still
ma'am.
have a positive figure.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. You still have the positive figure. So the amount that is to be adjusted is the undistributed profit. Are you with me?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
the entry would be, what will be the entry? You can write along with me. It would be gaining partner debit,
Gaining
sacrificing
partner
partner
debit.
credit.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Sacrificing partner credit. That means you need to know the gain ratio and the sacrificing ratio. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
If the amount to be adjusted would have been the negative, then this entry would get reversed. What would this entry happen? It will be reversed. What would be?
Sacrificing partner.
Yeah, it will be
Yeah.
sacrificing partner debit and gaining partner credit.
Gaining partner credit.
Okay, so that means I need to find the gaining ratio and the sacrificing ratio. Are you with me?
Sacrificing ratio. Yes,
I
ma'am.
have the partners X, Y, and Z, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the old ratio?
5 to 3 to 2.
So 5 by 10, 3 by 10,
10. 3 divided by 10.
2 by
2.
10. What is the new ratio?
2 divided by 10. 3 divided by 10 and
2
5
is
divided by
to
10.
3 is to 5. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
2 is to 3 is to 5. So it would be 2 by 10, 3 by 10, 5 by 10. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
So to find the gain or the sacrifice, we will do on. Old ratio minus new ratio.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it is 5 by 10 minus 2 by 10. For this, there is nothing. And this is
Yeah.
2 by 10 minus 5 by 10. Since the denominator is same, you can minus directly. So this will
Yes,
be
ma'am.
3
3
by
by
10
10.
positive and this will be 3 by 10
3
negative.
by 10 negative.
So this would be the gaining partner and this
Yes,
would be the
only
sacrificing partner.
sacrificing.
So gaining partner debit, that means Z's capital account would be debited and X capital account would be credited. Gaining partner debit, sacrificing partner
Sacrificing partner debit.
credit.
Yeah.
This
Credit.
is
Yeah.
the adjustment made for net reserves and losses. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
So 75,000 is your amount to be adjusted. In which ratio? In the ratio of
Uh,
3 by 10.
3 by 10.
So gaining partner would be debited with 7,500
Sell
into.
500.
So it comes up to 22,500. So gaining
Yes.
partner debited by 22,500 and sacrificing partner would be credited by 22,500.
22,500.
I want you to try and do this part. I will wait for you. Can you please read the question for me?
Yes, ma'am. X and Y are partners in a firm sharing profits and losses in the ratio of 3 to 2.
Okay.
Yeah. With if, from 1st April 2018, they decided to share the future profits equally.
Okay. That means they have was sharing in the ratio of 3 to 2. Now there is a
Yes, ma'am.
change in PSR. If there is
Yes,
a
ma'am.
change in PSR, then what are the things that you have to do?
I'm like,
There are 5 things that you do usually when there is a change in
yeah,
profit
yeah.
sharing
Okay,
ratio or
okay.
change in the
And we get
structure.
sacrificing ratio and gaining ratio.
You will revalue assets and liabilities.
Okay.
You
Okay.
will
Revalue assets and
do
liabilities.
adjustments for goodwill.
Yes, ma'am.
You will distribute the undistributed profits in partners' capital account credit side. You would distribute the undistributed losses in partner's capital account debit side, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So there is a change in the profit sharing ratio and you have a profit and loss account credit balance. What is this
Balance.
undistributed profits or undistributed loss?
And this is undistributed profit.
So this is undistributed profits. Undistributed profits would be distributed amongst
The partners
in
in
which
old ratio.
ratio?
Old ratio.
Old ratio. What are they asking you to do?
Record the necessary journal entry. So the distribution of the balance, credit balance.
Okay. Immediately before the change, what would be the journal entry?
Okay, so yeah, profit and loss account, this thing debit, and X and Y capital account credit
Which ratio?
in old ratio.
So what would be X share?
Yeah, 1,50,000 multiplied by 3 by 5, which is equal to 90,000.
And Y's
Yeah.
share would be 150,000 multiplied by 2 by
2
5.
by 5.
Okay, this is the old ratio you're going to
60.
distribute it in. So this is just
Yes, ma'am.
normal distribution of your undistributed profits. Are you with me?
Profits. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. If after you've completed this sum, try this sum. I'm reading this sum. A and B are partners. They share profits and losses in the ratio of 4:1. In future, they want to share profits in the ratio of 3:2.
3:2.
What does this mean?
And that this is new ratio.
There is a change in TSR.
Oh, yeah, change in PSR, right?
If there's a change in TSR means what?
And there are 5 steps, right? First, we make a
If
new
there is a
reval
change in profit sharing ratio means there's a change in the structure.
structure. Yeah.
What are the things that you
Mhm.
usually do?
Ma'am, we
We value what?
revalue the assets,
And liabilities. What is the next thing
liabilities.
that you do?
Uh, we find the goodwill,
We do
and then
goodwill adjustments,
yeah, goodwill adjustments and accumulative profits will be
distribute
credited. Sorry,
undistributed profits and partners capital account credit side,
credit, undistributed
distribute
losses and partners
undistributed
capital account
losses,
debit side.
partners capital account debit side. Profits
Yes,
would
ma'am.
have what balance?
Credit balance,
And losses will have what balance?
debit balance.
Losses will have a debit balance. Very good.
Yes, sir.
So now your profit and loss has which balance?
Debit balance.
That means this
Yeah,
is what?
undistributed loss.
What is the journal entry to distribute undistributed losses?
It will be partners. No, it will be yeah, in the partners capital account debit side.
Partners capital account debit. What credit?
The undistributed loss.
Undistributed loss credit. What is the amount?
1 lakh.
Distributed in the ratio of,
4:1.
so it will
4 by
be
5, 1 by 5.
4 by 5, 1 by 5. So it would be
Yes.
profit and loss partners capital account debit. 100,000 into 4 by 5 would go to A.
Yes,
100,000
ma'am.
into 1 by 5 would go
Into
to
B.
B. So A's capital account debit, B's
Yes,
capital
ma'am. B's
account
capital
debit,
account debit
and the
to
name
profit
of
and loss
our
account credit.
undistributed loss is what?
Credit.
What is the name? Profit and loss account.
Profit and loss account.
What will be the journal entry? The narration would be,
Narration, yeah.
what
Being
will be
debit
the
balance in the
narration?
profit and loss account transferred in old ratio to partner's capital account.
Okay, do these two sums and I will move ahead. Take this question.
Yes, ma'am. X, Y, and Z are sharing profits and losses in the ratio 5:3:2. They decided to share future profits and losses in 2:3:5.
What does this mean?
Uh,
What does this mean?
ma'am, that uh,
This means that there is a change in PSR.
yeah, change in yeah, PSR.
If
Yeah.
there's a change in PSR means what?
If there's a change in PSR, ma'am, then
That
we
means there's a
can,
change in the structure.
yeah, change in structure.
If there's a change in the structure means what?
That we can do like revaluation in the assets and liabilities,
Then,
and then we can do goodwill adjustment. Then we
then
can do what do we say, unrecorded assets in the credit side and unrecorded liabilities in the debit side.
unrecorded profits would go to partners' capital
Sorry, yeah,
and unrecorded losses would go to partner
losses will go
capital
to
account debit side.
capital account. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So
If nothing is mentioned, what do you do?
if nothing is
Just
mentioned,
distribute.
then
And in the new balance sheet, nothing will come.
yes,
However,
ma'am.
if they want the accumulated profits and losses without
Yes, ma'am.
to be adjusted without affecting the book value, what do? You will have the
Ma'am,
net
what
effect.
net effect? Okay.
Okay. In the net effect,
Yeah.
if it is a positive figure, then what would be the journal entry?
Journal entry will be, ma'am, unrecorded profit.
Gaining
Uh,
partner debit,
oh wait, gaining partner debit and sacrificing partner credit.
sacrificing
Uh,
partner credit. If it is a negative answer, then
yeah, then it will be gaining, sacrificing partner credit and gaining partner debit.
sacrificing partner debit and gaining partner credit. Are you
Credit.
with me? So in
Yes,
this
ma'am.
case, you have to find the gain or the sacrifice.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you find the gain or sacrifice?
And we subtract both the old ratio and new ratio.
What is the old ratio?
5:3:2, and
What
yeah,
is the new
I think 3.
ratio?
2:3:5.
Okay, who is gaining? Who is sacrificing?
Yes, ma'am. This gain, ma'am, and sacrificing is Z. X is gaining.
On old ratio minus new ratio.
Yes, ma'am.
So X is gaining
Yes, ma'am.
and Z is sacrificing. Are
That
you
is sacrificing.
okay? So to calculate the net effect, what do? All the undistributed profits you will add and you will deduct the undistributed losses. Advertisement suspense is an undistributed loss. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the amount that has
Okay.
to be considered for adjustment is how much?
18,000.
18,000. It's a positive figure. So the gaining partner X is going to get how much? X is gaining, right?
No, ma'am, sacrificing. Yeah, I made a mistake.
How X is sacrificing? Yeah,
Yeah, because it's positive.
positive. So X is sacrificing and Z is gaining.
Yeah,
So 18,000 into 3 by 10 would go to Z. Z's capital account debit.
yes, ma'am.
And 18,000 into 3 by 10 would go to X capital account credit. Gaining
Credit.
partner debit, sacrificing partner credit.
Sacrificing partner credit.
Okay, what
Right.
would be the narration that you will write?
Yeah, adjusting a journal entry passed for treatment of general reserve, profit and loss account, and advertisement suspense account.
So you've passed an
As
adjustment
given.
journal entry for treatment of general reserve, profit and loss account, and
Yes, ma'am.
advertisement suspense account. Please do it. I will wait for you.